Realty.
It's wine o'clock. So, Paula and I are just going to talk a little bit about everything. So what's the first thing we wanted to talk about? You had something you wanted to talk about. Right. Oh my God.
We're going to wine.
What's in the world, Carol? And you are?
I hear myself. Name of Realty.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shut us up. So, sorry.
That's way too much.
So for anybody who doesn't know, we're live on YouTube right now. And so when you live stream, you have lag time. And that was us in the background, like actually catching up to our lag time.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. We're learning.
That's right. That's right.
Right. So how was your week?
My week was pretty good. It was pretty good. I, just doing my thing, doing my little hustle, trying to, get things together here.
Right.
And, learned a lot today. I feel like I had a great interview earlier with a financial planner. So that was fantastic. And, so that was good stuff. Otherwise, that's it. But, it's interesting. I did get to talk a little bit about the coronavirus and somebody else. It was nice to hear somebody else's positive thought about the, that it's like, the world's not falling apart.
The sky is not falling.
That, like your favorite saying, the sky is not falling. I think you should try to coin that phrase. It's a good one.
I'm glad that we're not the only ones who are thinking that way, and who are just trying to remain positive through this and just like really not getting sucked into all the negative. The narrative right now is very negative. So I'm just avoiding it at all costs. And I'm sitting here, my 75-year-old father lives with me, as cute as he is. I can always tell when there's something on the news that he doesn't agree with because he starts cursing at the TV.
Oh, that is so funny.
And it's just the funniest thing in the world. He's like, he's all docile all day long. And then the news makes him mad and he's cursing out the TV. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing?
That is funny. But you know what? Let me ask you about your dad. Since you mentioned him, does he have any concerns regarding his, being that he's 75 years old and his age and all that? Or is he kind of like you where sky's not falling? Kind of frame of thought.
Like me, sky ain't falling. My dad, I think there's a difference in mentality, I think, when you get a little older. Mm-hmm. His philosophy at this point is, what am I going to die?
Right.
Like I'm 75.
Yeah.
So in 75 years, his thing is like, I made it through 75 years. I'm not worried about this virus.
That's funny.
I've seen more. I've been through more. Like, he's been through 75 years of pandemics and epidemics and, catastrophes and, the sky is falling stuff.
Right.
I mean, think about what he's seen in 75 years. So, yeah, he's just like, it's like another just thing to deal with, takes his little precautions. He's doing me the courtesy of not going out too often because he knows that I don't want him to get it. But at the same time, like today, he went to the post office because he wanted to go mail something to somebody.
But is he maintaining social distancing and like following those rules of what they're saying? Okay.
Oh yeah, he's not an idiot. He knows he's got to take certain precautions if he, ventures out into the contaminated world.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's not letting it not let him venture out.
Gotcha.
He's not riddled with fear that he's afraid to go live. He's moving cautiously about the cabin.
Yes. Yeah. But here's a good story. Not a good story. I shouldn't say it's a good story, but it's good. It's just good thinking. Good to think about when you're going out, make you feel better. My cousin, I don't know if I even told you this. I think I did. My cousin got diagnosed with the coronavirus. He lives in New York. Okay. And my other cousin, which is his sister, who I'm obviously closer with, she is the one who drove him to the doctor's office. She took her necessary precautions in the car, and this was before she knew he was officially diagnosed, but they had a feeling. But she wore a mask, she's done everything that she needs to do, cleans her hands, all that. But she was in the front seat of the car with him.
Okay.
He wore a mask as well on the way to the doctor's office.
Okay.
He's now doing better. So he's on the road to recovery, which is great.
Excellent.
Yep. And my cousin got tested, and the results came back today for negative. She
Okay.
doesn't have it.
Okay.
So what I felt like that told me is, I mean, even if you are like in close proximity, it doesn't mean you're necessarily, it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get the virus.
Right.
If both people, I think that's where they're saying these masks are really important, right now. So they both had masks on, one person with the virus, one person without, and my cousin didn't get it. And she's got no symptoms. The only reason why they had her test was because she was in that close proximity. But yeah, so I think that's really, it's comforting to think that, there are precautions that we can do out there and we're going to be okay.
Right. It's kind of interesting. I hear the news in the background. I avoid it. I really do. I don't like the narrative right now, but it's interesting because I do hear the uprising starting, right? People are tired of sitting around their house.
Yeah.
It's a great fantasy to be like, man, I would love to stay home and do nothing all day. It's a whole nother thing when that's your reality. Like now they're like, oh, and I bet like the first couple of days, everybody was like, yeah, this is the best. It's been 2-3 weeks now. People are ready to rip their goddamn hair out.
Yes. Yeah. People can't wait to go back to work.
Oh my God.
I bet the call-in sick rate's going to be ridiculously really reduced when people go back to work.
Right. Nobody's going to call in sick for the rest of the year. I think that's just like, so it's going to be interesting to see how people handle that as we move forward here, because people are getting tired, and you hear it now starting to come. Presidents like, okay, maybe we should open the country. I just heard Florida's opening a couple beaches. Like people are wanting to get, like, they can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
So maybe that is the answer. Maybe everybody wears gloves and masks for the next month.
Yeah.
Maybe we do go back to life as usual, but we just take a few precautions while we're doing it.
Right.
I know that there are people, I call them alarmists, the alarmists.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to die. We ain't going to fucking die. Calm down. So, I can't stand talking to them. They drive me. I just have to walk. I just walk away. I'm like, hey, bye-bye. But there are people who live and thrive in living in that fear, right? I'm not that person. So those people will probably still stay home, and, they'll probably lose their jobs, and they'll be like, oh, it was the corona, it was your mentality. But I think 90% of Americans right now are ready to get the hell out of the house.
Absolutely. I know I am, for sure. And, it doesn't help when the weather starts, here in Florida, things start raining. This is now, we're entering our rainy season. So there's only so much you can do outside because, well, now the sky is falling in a different way. It's falling with water.
Sky is falling, baby. I'm going to actually change backgrounds because I feel like my background's just not appropriate. So we're going to go wood so that I can match you.
You're going to go wood? Okay, I like your wood.
Oh, I'm not drinking wine, so I shouldn't have wine. Yeah.
Well, I know. Next week we'll have to drink wine for wine o'clock. Do a little bit better with that.
Right.
But you know what? I didn't hear. So I need you to help fill me in too. I did not hear that. I haven't watched the news all day, so I don't know the latest and greatest with the weather. I mean, not the weather. The beaches.
The beaches.
Yeah. So here.
Somebody's messaging me on Facebook, like, am I willing to donate to a fund? Well, I looked this up for you. You know what? I want to talk about something crazy that happened today. I had to venture out today. And I was on my way home, and I'm sitting at a red light, and there's a guy on the corner. I'm 47 years old. And I don't say that to say I'm old or I'm young. I say that to say for 27 years at a minimum, I have been driving, and I have seen people at corners, stoplights, with their changes and, oh, I'm homeless signs. In all those years, I've never seen somebody stand on a corner showing their identification, asking people to help them because they were hungry.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So today, and I swear I could cry thinking about this. I'm at the light and I see this guy, and I realize he's literally standing there. He's got his freaking ID, and he's going,
well, like a driver's license?
His driver's license. Please, I'm hungry. I'm not a bum, but I don't have any money and I need food.
Oh my God.
Okay. And when I tell you how mad was I that everybody on that, where he was like ignoring him, like he wasn't standing there, and he's holding his ID out to prove that he's not a bum. You can see that the man is clean. Okay. Yeah. You can see that he's taken care of, and he's showing you his ID. Like, listen, I'm not a bum. I'm not here trying to mooch from you. He's not asking for money. The man is literally asking you to buy him some food.
Oh my gosh.
So I rolled my window down. I said, are you looking for food? And he said, please. I said, I got you, baby. There's 2 restaurants right there. Meet me right there. So we go into the restaurant. I normally don't talk about little acts of kindness that I do. I keep them to myself because it's not for everybody to know what I do.
Sure.
But I'm sharing this because the appreciation in this man was he literally took his hand up and was like, yes, thank you. Yes. So I said to him, I said, what do you want? I said, because there was 2 restaurants, right? I think one was Mexican, one was Italian. I said, what do you want? He said, I'd like some tacos. I said, let's go get you some tacos. So we go inside. I said, how many tacos do you want? He said, I want 2. I said, okay, so we're going to get you 4. Right? Because we know tacos a little. I don't know about you.
That,
but when he said a taco, I thought, like a little taco at Taco Bell. Like that, that ain't filling nobody. Okay. So I said to him, I said, okay, and we're going to get you 2. He said, a beef taco. I said, that's fine. I'll get you anything you want. Anything you want. Taco. Okay, great. So I order him 4 beef tacos. I said, what do you want to drink? Oh, I would love a soda. Okay, what kind of soda do you want? I want a Coke. Okay, great. Give me 2 Cokes. Mm-hmm. And then I said to the lady, can I buy him lunch for tomorrow? And she was like, oh, yeah, you just want to prepay. I will prepay for it right now. Give me the exact same thing for him tomorrow. 4 more tacos and 2 more sodas. I thought that man was going to cry. He was like, oh my God, thank you so much. He's like, you don't even know, like he's like, yes, I have food for tomorrow. I'm like, listen, baby, I can't help you forever.
Yeah.
For the next 2 days. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope it's enough to sustain you, And I left. So I got to say, like, if you're driving down the street and you see somebody who isn't asking you for money, they're asking you for food, have some compassion in your heart. Stop and buy them some food. Yeah. What did that cost me? $20? Listen, I'm not a rich person either, but goddamn, I'm never going to let another human being starve. I mean, the man is standing there not asking you for anything but food. How do you look at him and say no?
Right.
Oh, so I wanted to share that, like, have a heart.
That's a great story, Carol.
Because we don't know. I don't know what that man's situation is. Maybe he was working. Maybe because of everything getting shut down right now, he can't work. Maybe he literally has run out of cash. So, maybe he doesn't have a bank account. So his stimulus check wasn't on direct deposit, right? So maybe he doesn't get that stimulus check till it shows up in the mail. Maybe he doesn't have any cash and he's hungry right now and he doesn't have any food. And you couldn't stop your goddamn car and feed that man? Are you fucking kidding me? In your brand new Mercedes? Are you fucking kidding me right now? Listen, the restraint. Wow. Have some compassion. Like, have some compassion. I don't mean to curse, but I just was super uber upset about that. Like, just totally got me. So I want to throw that in our wine o'clock. Have some damn compassion and feed the hungry.
You know what? Carol, if we had a glass of wine in our hand, that would be a great opportunity to say cheers to that.
So his name was Steven, and I'm going to tell you what.
Kindness.
I thought about it, right? And not tomorrow, because I did feed him for tomorrow, but the next day, right? So we're talking Sunday. Yeah. I'm going to go drive over there on Sunday and see if he's around and see if he needs food. And I'm going to take that man a bag of food because you can't live on tacos, right?
Yeah,
so, I was thinking I'll take him some Crustables and some fresh fruit. My husband.
There you go.
A homemade chicken noodle soup.
Stuff that he doesn't have to. Well, do you know anything about him? Did he get to like where he lives or?
I didn't, because we were in the restaurant scenario, like setting, and they're like watching. We got to be 6 feet apart, so I really couldn't. Oh. You know what I mean? And there was somebody over here, so they're trying, and like she's behind glass, and they're like, "You got to stay 6 feet apart." And so I was trying to get out of there so that he could wait. Right. Because I didn't want to be a body just standing in the way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I just got myself out of there. But I will say this. I will be over there looking for him on Sunday. And if that man has a house and he has a refrigerator and it's empty, I'm probably going to fill it.
Oh,
I'm going to take that man grocery shopping, because nobody should be forced, due to any situation, to stand on a corner and have people ignore them when they're like, hey, I just want some food.
Absolutely.
Like, are you kidding me?
I've always been an advocate for giving food, to homeless, not money, only because of the fact that I don't know always what they're going to do with the money. Unfortunately, especially in Manhattan, New York, where I grew up, it was just, drugs, alcohol and stuff like that. You can they kind of reek of alcohol as you walk by, and I wouldn't want my money to go to something like that. But what you just described, absolutely, hands down, you know what? There's this thing that somebody was talking about. I think it was on Facebook, where they were saying that people got backpacks, like little mini backpacks together for
And they put
homeless
food in them.
women. Well, no, this was for like sanitary needs for women
Oh,
that
yes.
are homeless.
Yes.
Yeah, like just put like all little, think deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, just things that they need for survive, just your everyday stuff. And just rather than when somebody's holding up a sign like that, to give them one of those little mini backpacks. But now with what's going on, I think even buying like little like $5 gift cards to the food places could also be a great strategy. And you can give those as little tokens of, here, go grab yourself some McDonald's.
So, so okay, we're gonna go down this road, and this is stuff I normally don't talk about. And
Oh.
there's a lot of things I do that people don't know I do. Okay. This past December was the 7th year where I collected toiletry items and put together blessing bags and handed it out to the homeless on Christmas Day. In the last 7 years, thousands, literally thousands of bags have been handed out.
Wow.
So on that, I'll say this. What we learned early on was if you do a blessing bag, and I hope that everybody would keep one or two in your car, because you would be surprised how much people appreciate those little things. If you're going to do a blessing bag, there's a couple of items that are staples that you need to have in there. If you ask homeless people and poll homeless people, guess what the number one item is that they ask for?
Let me think about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Number one item.
The number one item, when they polled homeless people, the number one item that they asked for.
A toothbrush?
No. A pair of socks.
Pair of socks.
Pair of clean socks. Huh. So if you're going to, and I encourage everybody to do it. Everybody should have one or two blessing bags in your car. It really doesn't take a lot of money. You can go to the dollar store and you want to make sure you have a clean pair of socks in there. You want to put a toothpaste, toothbrush, shampoo, conditioner, razor, shaving cream, pain relievers, like a little thing of Tylenol or a little thing of Advil, a little thing of hand sanitizer when they restock, of course, a couple of snacks. And you want to avoid anything with peanut butter because a lot of people have allergies. So you want to try and do like cheese crackers, stuff like that. That way anybody can eat it. You want to have, if it's wintertime, you want to put a pair of gloves, a scarf, and a hat. One of the things that you really should know with that is you don't want to have like a bright pink scarf and a hat. Yeah, you want to have a darker color hat because homeless people don't want anybody to know they're wearing something new because they'll get robbed. So with a darker item, they can kind of camouflage it in. It doesn't look like they have anything new on. You want to put everything in a Ziploc bag. Okay. And if you can, you just want to put a little sandwich Ziploc bag in there too. So you're going to ultimately hand them 2 Ziploc bags. And that's so they can keep stuff dry in case it's pouring down rain. They have stuff that they can keep their stuff dry in. Gift cards are a good thing to throw in there. If you have some gift cards, like you said, a $5 gift card to McDonald's, a $5 gift card to the dollar store, you know what I mean? Throw some of those in there for them.
Yeah.
Of course, it's always nice to give cash, but I think that gift cards go a little bit longer for them, and they're less likely to get robbed. And you just give it out, You'd be surprised how many of them will appreciate having some floss and a couple Tylenol.
Yeah.
And deodorant. Deodorant,
yes. For sure.
I was handing out blessing bags one year because you have to put a little flashlight in there. So
that's awesome. When I was little, I used to say to my mom, because we would walk through Manhattan a lot, and that would be our place to go every Friday because she worked in the city. Us New Yorkers, called it the city in Manhattan, even though the 5 boroughs is the city. Right. But we would go to the city every Friday, and there was a lot of homeless people around, laying on the steps of the library and just, the different places out there. Okay. And train stations and all that, great place for them to hide out and keep warm in the winter months, especially. But I could never wrap my head around, obviously as a young kid, why they got to that place And I also had such a hard time wrapping my head around what this was the biggest thing for me, because my mom would explain it to me. And, she would explain that there was various situations, some are due to because they've gotten involved with drugs or alcohol, but others just made different, poor choices in life. And this is where they ended up, Yeah. I couldn't wrap my head around why they didn't have any family. That was the hardest thing for me to understand. Because, I had family all around me. So I'm like, okay, well, I can understand all of these choices, but how do you not have any family to help you? Like I've got this many cousins and I've got this, many aunts and uncles. How come they don't have anybody? Don't they? And then if it was an older person, I'd say, well, don't they have a son or a daughter? Like it just would break my heart. I couldn't understand it. I still actually have a hard time understanding, I don't know, but it's sad though.
It's sad for anybody to end up in that situation, regardless of how they got there.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Like, it is a little weird to think that there's people out there literally who have no
With
one.
nobody.
But
Yeah.
obviously, that's a very true reality,
It
unfortunately,
is.
for some people. And it's one of those things you want to be mindful of. For me, it just makes sure that I stay appreciative for the family that I have. I
Yeah.
have a loving, supportive husband. I have my daddy lives with me. That's right. I said daddy at 47. I don't care. My daddy lives with me. And I am 47 years old and I can still say daddy in a way that he'll be like, what do you want?
Yeah, that's awesome.
He definitely will, and he still tries to spoil me. But like, it's, to think that there are people out there, and it's, you're right, whether you're old or young, but it is a little more heart wrenching when it's somebody older.
It is.
Listen, I'm getting older. If I get out of bed the wrong way, I hurt my goddamn ankle.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't imagine sleeping on concrete. Like,
oh my God. I don't know how they do it really. It's actually, that's another thing I think about, all the physical ailments that I have. And then when I do drive by somebody and I think, how do they do it?
Right.
Just one ailment after another, and they just kind of all blend together. And I'm sure they're not going to the doctors and getting everything checked out every time they feel some kind of ache and pain,
Right.
How do they just, the coping's I don't know. That's that fight or flight thing that we have just kind of in us to keep going,
And I think that that's exactly what it is. It's like a fight or flight. Like, we're just used to, I think we're very adaptive. Like, we can adapt to the situation. And in our minds, we think, okay, well, it could be worse. I could be dead. Right. So I can deal with that little pain, or I can deal with this ache, or, okay, maybe I don't walk straight anymore, but that's just the way life goes, But yeah, I couldn't imagine like that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I don't want to go down a negative road. This was to say this: if you see somebody hungry on the street, just feed them. Like, it's not that hard to do. It's really not. And it's not that expensive, have some compassion. There's like people sitting around me in brand new cars. Like, come on, you can afford to buy this guy some food. Like, it's, you don't have to be so selfish in the world that you can't feed another human being. Absolutely. So that was my thing on that. So now, what did you want to know about the news? All that, I was going to say all that while I was on the news looking for something. I think you wanted the weather. Are we looking for weather?
No, I wanted to find out. Yeah, I used the word weather before by mistake, but I wanted to find out about the beaches. You said that beaches.
So how about that? You live in Florida and I live over here in Delaware, and I know Florida beaches reopened.
Yeah, I haven't watched the news all day. I actually have not been keeping up with anything with the news or the coronavirus for the last 48 hours. I don't even know how many people we have right now. I've just kind of put it out of my mind.
Yeah, you know me. I'm not real big on all that stuff. So it looks like Jacksonville is going to reopen beaches, right? Oh God, here we go.
How about in Tampa? Any beaches? Oh, well, I guess Jacksonville had less numbers, so I could see them doing that.
Right. So it looks like they're going to be the ones, I guess, to spearhead, stay home. Florida governor gives the green light for beaches to reopen. So,
so is it all beaches then, maybe?
Yeah. So it says Florida's governor on Friday gave the green light for some beaches and parks to reopen if it can be done safely. And North Florida beaches became among the first to allow beachgoers to return since closures began, because of the virus or whatever. So,
so did he lift the stay-at-home order? Because he put a stay-at-home order in effect till April 30th.
Yeah. So it doesn't really go into that. It just says definitely reopen a few beaches, it looks like. So maybe
Oh,
because you
cool.
have to go out for an hour and exercise, like we're,
Yeah.
yeah, like we're doing hard time in the brig, you get an hour in the yard.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it's like I was telling somebody today when I go to the store, I was messaging, I forgot who it was, but I was like, when I go to the store, it's like a weekly outing for me now,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so ridiculous. Like I actually look forward to going like food shopping and it's not even, I still get my groceries delivered, but it's more like, I shouldn't say food shopping because I get my groceries delivered for that. But if I, tomorrow I have to run to Walmart to the pharmacy.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. Like, that's going to be great. I'm going to feel like I have a little outing at Walmart tomorrow, even though it's just to go to the pharmacy, but I might walk around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have to go to the grocery store, and I was like, oh, I get to go out for a while. I did have to run out today for a little bit, but like I went, I did what I had to do, and I came right home.
Yeah.
I was literally out of the house for like 40 minutes, not even like I was there and back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm ready to get out of this house. Like I am ready to get out of this house. I really miss the gym, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
I miss
Can't
the
wait for
gym.
those to open.
Oh,
That's going to be interesting how they're going to work that though, because there are definitely a lot of close quarters there.
yeah.
A lot of chances
Also,
for
people
germs to
sweating all
spread.
over stuff. Like it's
Yeah. So that's going to be one of the places that I'm sure they have a bunch of things that are in the works to
yeah.
take
Well,
into consideration how to reopen things.
so I guess they're going to have to do like an every other machine policy maybe for a while,
Maybe,
something like
yeah.
that. And they're going to probably have somebody walking around disinfecting stuff all
That's
the
what
time.
I was just like they do in the supermarkets
I
with the
can't
shopping
even tell
carts.
you how many times have you been at Planet Fitness and you see somebody use a machine and they just walk away and don't clean it like
Exactly.
all the time because they think they're special and they got to clean up after themselves. Really, you ain't special. You should carry your lazy ass over, get some paper towels, and
Right.
disinfect the equipment, please.
Right.
Oh no, that's not going to happen because they're going to watch this, laugh, and be like, "I don't care," and they're still going to do it because they're that inconsiderate and lazy. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Your mom raised you right, pal. Yeah, she
Yeah.
did. You
Seriously.
must be uber proud.
Oh man.
Oh, wow, that's funny. So I'm just sitting here looking over happy news because you know me, I like to read happy news, and I'm like,
Yeah, bring me some happy news.
okay, let's go through. So I think I saw, I love my little women news, right? So it says most British women have become comfortable with their natural looks while in lockdown. So apparently,
Oh,
yeah, apparently they did a survey over here in Britain. And oh wait, hold on, I'm going to share my screen for you. Okay, so apparently they did a over here in British, right? And it says that they have become they're comfortable in their own skin, so to speak. So I'm kind of happy to read that. I wish women all over the country would do that. Yeah,
that's
I'm
great.
still doing
Hey,
my eyebrows.
yeah, I do that. Remember my whole hair thing?
Right.
Going,
73%. That's staggering.
yeah.
73% agreed with the statement that they, were good with their natural look since all this started. Because we all know everybody can be like, I ain't a catfish. It's possible
Yeah.
we have a little catfish in us, right? Well, it's just a smidge, right? Not
Oh
because
man.
we want to, but because I'm gonna be honest, I like to do it because I like to feel good about myself, not because I'm necessarily worried about what other people think.
Right.
By
Well,
this,
last week I think was it last Friday? Or no, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I got like all dolled up at home. I put makeup on, I got dressed, I did my hair and put jewelry on even. And I was like, I'm literally all dressed up and nowhere to go.
nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. My husband is standing here on the other side of my glass sliding doors, like staring at me.
Oh, funny. Does he need to get in the house?
No, but he's in the house. He's in the other. I'm in my sunroom, so there's like,
Oh, okay. So
and
he's
he's
just,
like standing there, like, oh hey,
that's funny.
what, what are you doing? He's a mess. So it looks like Sam's Club is offering hero shopping hours to healthcare workers, regardless of membership. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
They're offering what?
Okay. Sam's Club is offering hero
Hero?
shopping hours to healthcare workers, regardless.
Oh, I think that's fabulous.
Right. And I agree. But here's my question. Hey, Sam's Club, what about all the teachers who are still teaching and stuck at home?
Yeah.
Right? What about the fact that they're one of the heroes out there? Just because they're not out there doing it doesn't mean they're not still dealing. Because
True, yeah.
teachers are juggling, right? So what about that?
Right.
What?
Yeah. Hey, you know what's really sad? Well, this is a sad note. I know we like to spread positive stuff, but it's just
Right.
something for everybody. I want to just bring a little bit of attention to this.
Okay.
Real
Let's
quick.
do it.
So, teachers are, home teaching kids virtually, obviously. And there's a lot of, kindergarten through 12th grade. Kids are having to learn online. I know in our school district, they've sent home iPads and laptops and stuff like that so that kids can do their learning online.
Okay.
One population of kids, though, is not able to do that. And that's your population of kids with significant cognitive disabilities. And it's so sad because those kids are, they go to school. Number one, their parents, who are probably their full-time caretakers when they're at home, are now with them 24/7, which is a lot. I mean, because it's draining, because some of those students have behavior issues. And I'm not saying that, parents don't love their kids or want their kids around, but sometimes, you just need that break.
Everybody needs a break.
And school offered that for them for at least that little bit. And I know when I was a teacher, because if nobody here knows that, I used to be a teacher for special needs kids before becoming a realtor.
Okay.
It's draining even as a school teacher. And I've had kids, where it's head banging, they're pulling hair, they're, biting. I mean, a physical aggression. And but I would always say to myself, I can't imagine being that child's parent and having, on the weekend, like they don't even get to have a break. At least now they get to have a break. And when I'm finished with my work day, I get to have my break. But when we're on, we're on. What are they doing now? Those parents that are home with those children 24/7, and they can't put a computer or an iPad in front of them to sustain them for very long. Small little bits, yes, maybe for different types of activities. But that's got to be rough. And there's only so many, those parents will have therapy. They can't even take their kids to like ABA therapy or anything like that because all that stuff is closed. It's deemed non-essential.
He's ridiculous.
He's still laughing at
he's over here now he's motioning me like he's air traffic control. He's doing this. What the hell are you doing? He's got to let the dogs out.
Oh no.
No, he's over here flipping me the bird now. So now we've gone from air traffic control to this. They need out. I'm so sorry. I know that was a serious topic, but when I'm dealing with the shenanigans over here, I feel sorry for those parents. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think many people haven't talked about that. That
things people ain't talking about right now. They should.
Yeah. Everyone's all about, close the schools, keep the kids at home, and which is on the grand scheme of things is understandable, but we're forgetting about those children that I just mentioned. And then you've got your kids that are in abusive situations. You've got those too. I feel gosh, they need school so bad. So I really for all of those, for those children, I do hope that they open up schools soon, but I have a feeling it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think that they're done with school for this year. I think they've thrown that tail in.
And did they officially announce that?
I think in some areas they have.
Okay.
Yeah, in some areas they've they're throwing that tail in. So I don't know what that looks like for children in that situation. I mean, certainly, and there's children who go home and have no food.
Yeah.
We live in America and we still have children who go home and don't have food. So it is a heartbreaking situation. What's the solution? I don't know. But I think talking about it helps bring awareness, and maybe that can help, the people who can come up with a solution start talking.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
I do hope so. And, in summer, for those who might think, well, the parents are with them all summer long. No, they're actually not, because they go to camps. They I'm talking about my special needs kiddos. They
Right.
have camps, they have therapies, there's things out there for those children to engage in. So right now, all of those things have been taken away. They've got nothing.
Well,
So
I hope, um, I hope that there's a solution in place, at least some type of relief that we just aren't even aware of, because, it's one of those, it's not everybody's business scenarios.
right.
So maybe there's like, some unsung heroes kind of moving in the shadows that are providing some type of, quiet solution to these things. You can
Yeah.
hope. You can hope.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know too many teachers and I'm friends with them. I talk to, so fortunately, those teachers aren't even able, like I just talked to somebody today. They're not even able to teach right now because they can't teach those kids via online. They'd have to be with them. So
Right.
they're literally just sending home packets of information and parents have to do it.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, you're the parent. This is what you've signed up for.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
understand. Well, that's not what they signed up for. They didn't know that's what was going to happen, but you signed up to be a parent, but you didn't sign up to
Right.
be a parent of a child with a significant disability. You didn't know that was what was going to happen.
Well, just because parenting for you looks different than what parenting looks like for that person doesn't mean that it's not what you signed up for. Like, you signed up to be a parent, and that
Right, period. You signed up to be a
right.
parent.
That means
Absolutely.
whatever comes with that. And so,
Yeah,
yeah,
whatever comes with it.
parenting does look different for people with children with disabilities and people without them. That's two different roads, but it's
Yeah.
still, you signed up to be a parent. So I hope they make it through without
I
ripping out.
sure hope.
God knows if I could send them some type of relief, I would do it. But
Yeah.
this is the cards that you were dealt, and as harsh as that may be to say out loud, I'm going to say it. This is the cards you were dealt. Suck it up, buttercup. You got to take care of that baby, because at the end of the day, that child needs to know they can depend on you. At the end of this, go out and drink a bottle of wine.
Yeah, really? Seriously, they are going to, I hope.
Yeah. At the end of this, get the hell out of there and go get a drink. But right
maybe
now,
some of the parks, what would be so great if going forward, I just had a really fabulous idea, actually.
Oh, here we go. See, people talking about it are going to bring a solution. Let's hear it.
All right. So it would be really great so I'm in Florida now, and we've got all of the theme parks here, Disney, SeaWorld, and all of those places. And I know that they do dedicate certain days of the year for children with disabilities where the parks are not open.
Yeah.
Because they can't wait on lines very long and stuff like that. So wouldn't it be a fabulous thing if they can't open the parks up to the general public yet because of the fact that they can't have that major congestion?
But you think they should open it up?
Maybe they could open it up slowly and just start out with give some of those children with disabilities a little bit of an outlet and their parents to go enjoy themselves and ease into it. I'm not saying they have to do it for free, but everybody wins. Parents who can afford to take their kids there will get to have a great day out with not a lot of congestion, and then the parks will have a little bit of income coming in. Obviously, they're going to be running on lighter staff. They're not going, maybe won't have every restaurant open, but a couple of rides.
I mean, I think that's an amicable solution, I think, for everybody. It gets like you said, slowly back to operation, and it gives them
back
a little relief.
They couldn't go full running, obviously, because it would cost them way too much money to run a full park, at full capacity for just a few people. But
yeah, that would be too much.
Boy, I would love to see that.
Definitely.
But anyway.
So what else is going on in the wonderful world? Any other news that we know about? Let's see.
No, because I haven't watched the news in preparation for our little talk here. So I didn't. I stayed away from the news for 2 days.
Yeah.
I didn't even know the beaches were open.
Did you know that today is the 50th anniversary of Apollo 13?
Is it really?
Yeah. So NASA apparently has invited a bunch of people to watch stream while it's on the 50th anniversary rescue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. I guess they're going to have that on TV later tonight or something. I guess 8:00. I don't know what time is it. So.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, that's pretty cool. I was like, oh, look, it's an anniversary.
They're going to have it on TV? I got to tell my son.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to stream it. So we've survived before. NASA invites workforce to stream Apollo 13 film tonight on 50th anniversary of the rescue. Yeah, I don't see a time. I'm like, yeah, I don't see a time. Let's Google it. See if you can find a link. Your son's pretty tech savvy. He'll find it.
Yes, he will.
Yeah. Tell him to hunt it
He
down.
loves outer space. That's like that's his jam. I think I
That's
told you that.
nice.
That's
Yeah.
his jam. Cars and outer space.
There you go.
Yeah, that's his two like passions right there. So
Well, cars have been a passion of mine for a really long time.
what's that?
Cars have been a little bit of a passion of mine for a really long time.
Yeah. Awesome.
They just have. I've worked in the auto industry for 15 years. Like, I've always had a thing for cars, accessories, making them look nice, stuff like that. It's just a little thing I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I could never care less about it myself. My son would talk about it, and he would always say, "Why can't I have parents that were really into cars and racing and all that?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, honey. I don't know where you got it from, but it's in his blood for sure somewhere."
Yeah, it's been in my blood for a long time. I used to go to the races in Philadelphia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we used to get together on the weekends down on Aramigo Avenue. And there would just be a bunch of cars and the cops would come, and everybody would scatter. And then we'd meet up on a back road somewhere and just do the races.
That's awesome.
We did. You'd have the people with the hydraulics on their cars, and the neon lights and the radios would be blasting. And we'd be out there 1:00 in the morning, and then the cops would be like, "Come on, man, get out of there." We're like, what we do, And the cops would always look at us like, you just quit it. We know exactly what you did,
That's funny.
It's madness. Yeah.
Good old times, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a long, long time ago. Many, many moons ago. Many, many moons.
Let me ask you a question. I know that you want to own an island one day.
Yep, that's my dream.
That's your dream.
That's my dream. My husband has finally gotten on board with this, by the way, just so you know. Initially, when I told him I want to own an island, he would look at me and start laughing. He'd be like, what the hell are we going to do with an island?
Yeah.
And I was like, we're going to go to it and be in our own tropical paradise. Yeah. And he would always just walk away like I was an idiot. Like, who the hell wants an island? He's like, who's cleaning this island?
Right. Who's taking care of this?
Who's maintaining the island? And I was like, well, if we can afford an island, we'll have people. He's like, oh, now we got an island and people.
That's funny.
He'd be like, how are we getting to the island? I was like, I don't know. We need a boat. He's like, oh, okay. And he would always mess with me. He'd be like, oh, now we need an island, a boat, and people. What else? And I was like, I don't know. I want to own an island. So
and a helicopter, probably.
Right, I need a helicopter to get there. Yeah. So yes, I do want to own an island. Why do you bring it up?
Well, I was wondering, since you mentioned cars, I was wondering, what is your dream car? Like, if you could own any vehicle, what would it be?
I think that's changed over the years, right?
Okay.
There was a time when it was like, oh, I want a 69 Camaro. There was, I did used to have a thing for the Nova, the older Novas. They were pretty nice. I really had a thing for a Camaro for a while, like 60s Camaro. But then I started getting into like the newer fast cars, right? The newer body styles, the Hemis, But I think if I had to say right this minute, like something that is out there today.
Yeah.
I think it was, did Ferrari put up that new vehicle this year? I think it was.
That was the wrong girl.
Sexy, man. It was super sexy. I was like, ooh, that's a nice car,
Really? So you would like a small sports car?
You know what? Yes, I would like to put my fat ass in a small sports car. So
wow. I would never. I don't like sports cars. I've driven, and not a fan.
Let me tell you. First of all, when I was learning how to drive, my dad, God bless his soul, my dad put me in a 28-foot flatbed, 4-speed, in reverse. And I was like, but Dad, and he's like, Carol, anybody can drive forward. I was like, but Dad, he's like, Carol, anybody can drive an automatic. I was like, but Dad, he's like, Carol, anybody can drive a car. So in Philadelphia, when I was a kid, dads would take their kids to the same place. Everybody, you'd go up there on the weekends and there was these cones on the side of the road and the dads would set up the little course and you'd see all the dads out there with their kids. And he had me roll up in a 28-foot flatbed and then made me go in reverse. And you just saw, like, they were like, what the hell? But he was right. I can literally drive anything on 4 wheels. Let me tell you. And I'm not afraid of it. I will drive it. But learning how to drive a stick really, really was, I think that was like the birth of feeling what it was like to drive your car. Right. So there's such a difference in the way you handle your car when you're driving a stick shift versus an automatic.
Right.
You can really like just become one with your engine. And the first time I got on a highway driving a stick shift Mustang, I was in fucking love. There is no better feeling in the world. There are people who can quote motor ratios and, you know, they can tell you where the engine taps, and I don't care about any of that. Put me on a highway in a good 6-speed short shift and just leave me the hell alone so I can turn the radio on. Hell to the yeah. It's beautiful, man. That is like the most, to me, that is the most stress-free time. And you can feel the engine. You should never, if you know how to drive a stick shift, and I don't give a shit what anybody says, if you know how to drive a stick shift, you should never have to look at your gauges. You should be able to hear your engine talking to you. And that's what I was taught. So I would talk to my car and become one with my car. I knew when to shift it. I knew when to upshift. I knew when to downshift, you know, like, and I would never use my brakes. Who the hell use their brakes, you know?
Wow.
Who the hell does? Rookies use their brakes. That's who uses their brakes. Come here, you. My fur assistant.
Aww.
Hey, this is Stitchy.
Hi, Stitchy. I should get my kitty.
This is my Stitchy. Got to get in the camera. This is Stitchy. He's trying to lick my microphone. Don't lick my microphone.
Oh my gosh.
He's so cute.
Okay, wait, hold on. I got to get my cat.
Okay, let's get the cat. He wants to pee on it. You want to pee on my microphone? Say hi to everybody. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. We brought in the fur babies.
Say hi, Chloe.
Hi, Chloe. Hi, Chloe. Can I pee on you?
Can I scratch your eyes out? That's what she'd be saying.
Oh,
look at her. Look at her. She's ready to go.
Ready to go. Meanwhile, he's the one who likes to sit here when I'm working. He'll lay on the desk in front of me, and I have to lean over him to get to the keyboard.
You know what this cat did? Speaking of scratching eyes out, that's exactly what she almost did to me when I was sleeping.
No.
Yeah, she goes, so she went and she just goes ballistic sometimes. And she bounced from corner to corner to corner. And now this is what she does. Like in the evening, she gets all amped up. And then somehow her paw just went smack right on my face.
Oh, no.
To the point that it scratched it. Like my foot, it was right above my eye. But this was in the middle of the night, mind you. And it woke me up. So I woke up to my cat jumping on my face.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to show you. My husband sent me this picture, and that's what I was just doing. I was taking it off my phone so I can put it on the computer so I can share my screen so you can see this ridiculousness. This is the ridiculousness of my one dog. Speaking of sleeping with, look at this. So my husband's sleeping.
Oh.
He's literally, that's my husband's ass. He's like,
oh no,
literally up his butt while he's trying to sleep. He's like, I can't move, I can't do this, I can't do that. And he's like, and so my husband's like moving over, and he's moving over with him. So like my husband's like, now I'm on the end of the bed, I can't do shit. So he's like on his phone, he's taking pictures. So like, I can't.
So sweet.
The ridiculousness. I'm glad you didn't lose an eye though.
Your dogs earlier today, that picture with the chicken soup, you should share that one. That was adorable.
You know what? They're ridiculous. So my husband was cooking dinner. So the world knows this is what's going on. My husband's cooking dinner, and I look over, and this is what I see. Can you still see it?
No.
I stopped sharing. Hold on. It was ridiculous. It was so stinking cute. I couldn't even. I look over. This is what I see.
That's freaking adorable.
Now my husband is standing there dicing the chicken up because he's making homemade chicken noodle soup for dinner. So he had made fresh pasta the other day for dinner, and he made extra pasta because he knew he was going to make chicken noodle soup tonight. So he's standing there, he baked the chicken, right? The house smells like chicken soup. It smells so good around here. So he's like dicing the chicken up to put it in there. And these little things, they're like this. I said, oh, Dad must be making dinner. I was like, listen, your toes ain't safe right now. Like, so he'll give them each a little piece of chicken, you know, so his toes will be safe.
So they know to expect it. They know it's coming.
Yep, yeah, because he ain't stupid. Like, look,
That's funny.
He'll pay the tow ransom.
That's so cute.
He will definitely pay the ransom because, oh my goodness, if he doesn't pay that ransom, shit could get real around here real quick. That's not good.
Oh man,
that's funny stuff, man.
That's adorable.
Yeah, that's funny stuff. He's he's a good cook. I married the right guy because he is a fantastic cook.
That's good. You're very lucky.
Yeah, thank you. I waited a long time to get married. I didn't get married till I was almost 40.
Wow.
Neither one of us had ever been married before, no children. Like, I waited.
Yeah, that's good. You waited to make sure you married the right one.
Yeah, I did. I didn't want to I never wanted to rush into marriage. And I never wanted to just get married to be married. Yeah. I always wanted to be married for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So I was uber cautious about that.
That gives some comfort to those that maybe are older and still single.
It depends why you're single. Are you single because you're bitter? Mm-hmm. Some people are single because they're bitter. Like, you need to stop being bitter. Or are you single because you're genuinely like, you know what? I want to meet the right person, but I'm not going to rush meeting the right person.
Well, let me ask you a question. I've got another question now. Yeah, I'm always full of questions.
I love the questions.
All right. So do you think that
on the spot?
What's that?
I feel like you're about to put me on the spot.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Okay.
I don't think so. Do you think that being single till you're in your 40s or 40, late 30s, makes you a little bit more in your ways and then therefore harder to adjust and adapt to marriage?
No.
No?
No. And here's why. I think when you're in your 40s, you have a better understanding of what you want and what you need.
Right.
You have a better understanding of compromise. Mm-hmm. You have you definitely have a better understanding of yourself, right? Because I think,
Absolutely.
if I think back over my life, right?
Oh yeah.
When you're 20, you don't know shit, right? But you know everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know everything, yeah.
You don't need nobody's advice. Meanwhile, you didn't know anything, and you didn't even know that you didn't know it. That was the scariest part, right? You don't know
exactly.
What you know.
Heck, my 15-year-old thinks she knows everything.
Right. And then when you're in your 30s, I think I feel like in my 30s, I spent a lot of time getting to know who I was.
Discovery, yep.
And so I'm glad that as I got to know me and grow into me and accept me, that I wasn't doing it while also trying to be what somebody else wanted me to be. That partner, that whatever their definition of whatever that was, but that because I spent 7 years, I wouldn't even go on a date. I wasn't even interested. Wow. And I remember having a conversation with my mom one day. Oh, I miss that lady. Mm-hmm. When I was buying my house, she's like, what are you doing? I thought, oh, shouldn't you be a little proud, Mom? Like, I'm buying a house. No, my mom was upset. She wants to know what I think I'm doing. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, but you're not married. Why are you buying a house? And I think I was like, I don't know. I bought my house like 10 years ago. So I was like 36, 37. And I was like, Mom, what do you want me to do? You want me to sit around and keep waiting for this magical guy to show up that I've never met in all these years I've been alive? And her and I had like this like heart to heart, right? And I was like, Mom, you got to understand something. I'm not dealing with the same caliber of man that you dealt with in your generation. The men in my generation still live with their mommies, right? They still have their mommies doing their laundry for them. They're not looking for a wife and a partner. They're looking for somebody to replace mommy. Mm-hmm. I'm not anybody's maid. And you know what I mean? And I don't want to be with somebody just because they want to find somebody to take care of them the way their mom did. I wanted a partner, somebody who was going to be in this with me. Like, this is a we thing, not a you and me take care of you thing. This is like a we thing. And, finding that mentality. And my mom was like, yeah, that's true. I do know, because where was my brother living? Right. He was living on my mom's sofa because that's what that generation did. Like, and I told her, and I said to her, I said, Mom, where's your son live? And she just gave me this. Shut up, Carol. Like, you know, it's not that I didn't want to meet a partner. It was that the guys would ask me out and I'd be like, oh, do you have children? You know, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I got kids. Where you living? You know, and I wasn't even trying to be an asshole, but honestly, you can't even have my phone number. When you tell me that you have children and you're out with me, or, you know, and you're out and about on a Sunday afternoon asking for my phone number,
right.
That's a red flag to me. Why aren't you with your children?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not even trying to be judgmental. You can be whoever you want to be, but you can't be someone in my life if you're not taking care of the things that you should be taking care of. Right. And I was pretty strong-willed about that. Like I've always been pretty like, not interested, but thanks anyway. So legit, I spent like 7 years single.
Wow.
I met my husband the first day we met. We knew we were getting married.
Real? Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that.
I'm telling you, we were together probably 2 hours, and we knew we were getting married. We have not been apart since that time until we spent the day before our wedding apart. And then recently with the job changes, we've had to spend time apart. We were never apart prior to that. Every single day we've been together. We do. I mean, you know, listen, we have our spats, but even our spats are not like, I don't think we've ever had a full knockdown drag out. Like, you know, where you're just saying hurtful things to one another that you can't. Now I'm lying. We did. We had one. We've had one.
Did you?
Yeah, we've had one. Now that I really think about it, we've had one, and we're getting ready to celebrate 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And we haven't been apart since the day we got married. So there's something to be said for meeting the right person.
Absolutely. Do you believe in soulmates?
If you had asked me that prior to meeting him, I might have said no. Since I met him, yes. I don't know about soulmate, but definitely my life mate.
Yeah.
You know, but I think, you know, listen, I think that women see the signs. They know that person isn't right for them.
Right.
But women are like conditioned, right? That we shouldn't be alone.
Right.
Right. Because they're like, oh, if you're not married by the time you're 30, you're never going to get married. Meanwhile, what they don't tell you is, girl, if you ain't married by the time you're 30, you ain't never going to get married. Because by the time you're 30 years old, you ain't putting up with that fucking bullshit. Okay. Being out with his friends. When you're 20 years old, you're still that timid little girl who's going to put up with that shit. When you're 30, you are a woman. Okay. You have found out who you are. You're starting to really learn who you are. And you ain't putting up with that drama. You ain't putting up with him being out all goddamn weekend, coming home Monday afternoon like it was acceptable. Nah.
Yeah.
So that's like, it's like they give you half the information. Oh, if you ain't married by 30, you'll never get married. But they forget to tell you, because after 30, you're not going to want to get married because you ain't going to put up with it. Like, and I feel like every 10 years, right, we cycle through this new person.
Yes, that's true.
You know, and so I'm kind of interested to see what 50 is going to bring. Because I'm going to tell you, I am a much calmer person today that if you want to know, I was such a different person. And I look back. Yeah. You know what you strike me as?
What's that?
You strike me as a wild child. You're so quiet and reserved. I can see you dancing on a bar with a bottle of Bacardi in your hand.
Oh, that's funny.
I can see that.
Really? That is hysterical.
Oh yeah. How true is it?
Not really true. I grew up as a pretty good kid. I did get a little, I was going to bars when I was 17.
Okay.
But I was still, sometimes I had a couple too many, but I went out drinking and had my fun between the ages of 17 and 21.
Okay.
Because then I had my son when I was 21. I ended up getting pregnant.
See, and there you go.
Yeah. So I had my son. So then, I was 22 when he was born. And from there, I took being a parent very responsible. I was that person, that young person, so.
I didn't want to do that. I can remember when I started losing my girlfriends, right? Oh, I'm pregnant. And like then the next one came up pregnant, the next one came up pregnant, and I was just kind of standing there by myself when it was all over. So I just started hanging with the guys. So there was like years where I just hung with all the men because all the women were home taking care of babies, and they were like, "When are you going to get pregnant?" And I was like, "Bitch, never!" Like, no.
That's funny.
I was not interested in giving up living my life to stay home to take care of a child. It was just, it's never been appealing to me.
So it never has.
It
Okay.
has never, ever, ever. In fact, I looked at my mother, I was probably, I don't know, 13. And I was like, I'm not having children. And my mom laughed and she was like, oh, you'll change your mind. I was like, I don't think so, mom. And then I was like, 17 or 18. And, that conversation came around again because my sisters started having me. I was like, like, I have three older siblings and I want to say all three of them had a child and they kind of looked at me at that point and I was like 17, 18. And I was like, you better skip Carol because I ain't having no babies. Right. And so they did. And then my younger brother had a baby. And then I was like, kind of in my late 20s. And I was like, yeah, not doing that, And now I'm 47. My husband wanted a child, so we were going to have a child. I mean, we had to have like that really long heart-to-heart conversation where, I'll be here. I'm not going to run away, obviously, but like, this really isn't my deal. So you're going to have to kind of really like, I mean, and I guess part of me wondered like, oh, will that wake up that nurturing side a little more? Maybe I don't know what the side is I'm looking for. Like, I just worried. I worried if I brought a child into the world, like I'm like, you're gonna like, because when I hear a baby scream, I just want to run to the other end of the world. Like, I don't.
Really? Wow.
Oh, it like pierces right through my soul. I'm like, I can't.
Well, that is the thing. They say that's the worst torture that you can give somebody is a baby screaming. I was actually watching a movie with my daughter, and it was not a movie, TV show. It was like one of those healthcare emergency room shows, and she loves to watch those. Yeah. And the doctors were in the ER and they were working on a screaming baby. And I said to her, wow. And the baby wouldn't stop crying. I think I was in the kitchen. I wasn't watching it like side by side with her. I was in the kitchen, I was doing my thing, but I'm listening, And I said to her, that has to be the most stressful situation that I could ever imagine being in, being an ER doctor in a medical situation where you have to take care of a sick infant, like in an emergent kind of way, and it's screaming like that. I could not imagine. Can you imagine that? Being in that high stress already situation, and then the baby is screaming, that blood curdling scream.
I don't know that I would be any good in that type of a scenario.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone is really, because that's tough right there.
God bless the women who can, right? My one sibling, she was like 15. Right. And she says to my dad, that conversation, right? Everybody said, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she was like 15 and she said, I want to be a mom.
Oh, wow.
And, my mom and dad were like, yeah. And she's like, no, I want to be a mom. And like, they were trying to be like, okay, like you're going to be a mom. Like that's part of it. But like, she's like, no, I want to be a mom. Like she didn't at that time, didn't really know how to relay what she was saying, but she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Let me tell you, she was pregnant within 6 months. I thought my parents were going to implode.
Oh, wow.
She had her first child when she was 16. 10 years later, she had her second child. And then 10 years after that, she had her third child.
Really? Oh, wow.
She has never looked back. That was what she wanted to do with her life. She wanted to be a mom. He took care of all her children to the age of 10, just them, right? Mm-hmm. So that they didn't have to deal with sharing the love, and she could make sure she gave them the full attention and walk them to school and pack their lunches and make sure she's showing them how to be good people and changing diapers. And like, I'm not even kidding you. And then when Holly was 12, when Holly was 10, she got pregnant with Richie. I'm not even kidding you. So she has 3 children and they're all 10 years apart. Huh. In fact, her grandchild is the same age as her youngest child. They are literally like 4 months apart.
Oh, wow.
Yep. True story.
That's awesome.
What about you? You ready for grandbabies?
I am actually, I never thought I would say that at 47 years old, but I don't think my son's going to have any kids. He's
Okay.
just not the type. Like he's,
You tell him he ain't the
just,
one who has to have them.
he hasn't ruled it out. I shouldn't say that. He's 25. He hasn't ruled out being a father. He has said that he, I don't even think he's going to get married, to be honest with you. I mean, if he does, he's going to be that kid that gets married. He's going to be like 40 something years old when he gets married.
Okay.
If he gets married.
So when I was 40.
Which is fine. And he just wants to, he's more interested in what he wants right now.
Yeah.
And my daughter, I think, will at some point, I just don't know when. Hopefully she waits till she's at least 30, 35, I tell her all the time, though, to definitely not get married until she's in her 30s. Cause I am with you there. You don't know who you are until that age.
I was going to say, we didn't hear your philosophy there on that.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I'm with you on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I got married when I was 27, so I was a few years younger than that, but I do agree that I really figured out who I was when I was probably about 35 to 37.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about, like, do you think I'm right? Because by the time you're 30, you ain't putting up with that shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
They make it like, oh, you're going to be an old maid. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to be? You're going to be a mature woman who ain't putting up with that shit.
Right. See, I was with my ex-husband, excuse me, since I was like 22. So we were pretty young and he was 25. And then fast forwarding, now I got married again a second time when I was like 43. So
right.
Definitely it was a different mindset in each relationship,
What a disaster relationships were when you're in your 20s. My goodness.
There are some though that make it. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. I think it's just those lucky few who really knew what they wanted, or
they had the perseverance to make it through, the 20s drama, right?
Yeah, like because you hear, older couples that have been married for like 50, 60 years.
Wow.
And it's like, how do they do it?
I think that there was definitely a time in America where divorce wasn't an option, right? Yeah. And the ones that have been married 40, 50 years, they're like, oh, 50% of marriages end in divorce. Well, I think 50% of marriages end in divorce because 50% of the people getting married don't understand what that means. They don't understand what it means to be a partner. They're so worried about what the other person is doing. They're not paying attention to what they're doing. Like, you have to be a partner. You have to be on the field. You can't be in the fucking bleachers expecting your partner to be on the field and you're doing nothing. And that's what they're expecting. And it's like, that's not how this works. You've got to be in the game. Like, and it's a never ending game. Like, it doesn't just turn off. And then they're like, oh, well, I just thought it would be better. Well, what did you do to make it better? Yeah. Like, when I hear certain people talk about getting a divorce and I hear all the stuff that they complain about what the other person did, and then you ask them, well, what did you do? Oh, well, what do you mean? You're saying that this person didn't do that. Did you do it? Like, you're so worried about what that person's doing. You're not paying attention to what you're doing. I feel like if everybody just put a little more effort into their marriage, they'd probably make it. But they don't understand what that commitment is. When they didn't have divorce as an option, they were both on the field. Right? They knew they had to, no matter what, you got to figure this out. We got to make this work. So what are we going to do to make it work? Or today they think that, like, it's like they think when they get married, they're going to enter this magical land of married where it's all puppies and rainbows and there's no problems. Marriage is hard work.
It sure is.
Marriage, like, how often do you and your husband have to sit down and have serious conversations?
Pretty often.
You know what I mean? Like, how often do you have to compromise within your marriage?
Daily. Multiple times a day.
But and that's what makes a successful marriage. Both parties being willing to address whatever's going on and figure out where the compromise has to come, right?
Right.
Like, where's your line in the sand on this? Where's your line in the sand? Like, we all have our hard, that's how that's got to be, right? And so the other person has to be willing to compromise on whatever that is. But then, you have to be willing to compromise when they say what their hard line in the sand is on stuff. Like, that's just how this works, And there's conversations about, you don't sit on your phone and text your BFF about what your marital problems are.
Right.
Because the first problem is you're talking to the wrong person.
Exactly. Or on social media.
If your BFF isn't the person who's wearing a matching ring, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Or on social media.
Right. Oh, I think we talked about that a little earlier.
Yeah.
Like, meanwhile, I'm sitting here with popcorn. Fight again. Did they break? Yeah, they broke up again. You know what I mean? And like, and the best part is they changed their statuses on their Facebook page. Oh, I'm no longer in a relationship. And then the very next day they tried to slide that shit in there like nobody's. Right. Come on, man. You got your drama out here for everybody to see. What do you do? If me and my husband have a spat, we don't advertise it. It's not, that's not everybody's, they don't need to know what we're arguing about. It's not everybody's business.
Absolutely.
I don't get it. You know what else cracks me up? They say, oh, it's because of money. How are you married and you got his money and your money? How's that work? Because I'm married and it's our money. Because we both have an account and every penny we each make goes into that account and we figure it out from there because this is a we thing, right? You're no longer in the land of me when you get married.
So you have the same account?
Absolutely. Hands down.
I don't
know how that works.
Yeah. So I'm very thankful that I don't. Actually, I did my first marriage. I had the same account and I shared. But now it's kind of nice because I feel like more independent with there is no asking, like we don't have to, like if he wants to go buy something, it doesn't have to be a communication. Like he worked hard for his money and he goes and he spends it. And then when I want to go and buy something, I've worked hard for it, I go spend it. And then the best part is when I want to buy him a present, I don't have to feel like it's coming out of our account. It's my money. So that's why I like it.
We have one account. That's where both our paychecks go. And he does have a separate account. Yeah, I mean, we have that, right? And he said that's exactly his reasoning. He's like, if I want to buy you a gift, I don't want you to see it coming through the account.
Yeah,
like I'm looking, right? So, and if I want to buy him something, I just go take cash out.
Right.
You make a withdrawal from the bank, and I'm like, yeah.
What a straight face.
I did, because you don't need to know either. But he knows if I pull money out of the account, it's for something, right? Because I handle the bills.
Exactly.
But he has full access. He can look at our account anytime he wants, and he can ask me about any transaction in there.
Yeah.
I'll tell him where that money went, why it got spent, how it got spent, how we got, like, he can follow it to the penny because I usually pay with my card. I very rarely grab cash out. And so it's usually when I want to buy him something. But he does have an account. So his check automatically there, I forget how much he has. I think $50 a week or something like that goes off into an account in the middle of nowhere that I don't know anything about. I don't care what he does with that.
Yeah.
So he has we each have spending money every week that we get, right? And then he's got extra money on the side that he builds up for whatever he wants to spend it on. I don't care what he spends that money on. I could care less. And he, but that works for us.
Yeah. Different. I hear a lot of couples that do it different ways, but I definitely, I think it could work either way very well because I've done both ways. So I've successfully done both ways.
Successfully. I think Darlene's watching us. Hey, Darlene.
Hey, Darlene.
I got a little hey in the comments. I'm like, I didn't get a hey back though.
Yeah,
I think that's her.
I think we've been on for over an hour this time.
Oh crap. Okay, so you want to go?
I've got to go because my neck is really. I told you about this chair that I'm in.
Yeah.
I've got to do something because, look, I want so much to sit back, but then it looks like I'm not engaged.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a shameless plug here.
What?
On Tuesday at 1:00, I'm doing a webinar with Dawn. She owns a local. Hold on, I'm going to tell you the exact name of her business because. She is doing one with me on exactly what you just said, because she's
nice.
A lot of people at home right now are unable to, because it's not, we're in our home offices, and so we don't have the best office chairs at home.
Yes.
And so she's like, so she's going to do a thing on how to relieve the stress from your shoulder area and make sure you're not getting all tense right here from being.
Well, I'm gonna have to put it on my calendar, Carol.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you her screen real quick. And share. So this is her, right? Essential Balance LLC Massage and Natural Products. And so what she's going to do is she's going to go over exactly that with me on Tuesday. She's going to go over ways to reduce stress and reduce the impact of being stuck sitting for so many hours because we're all trapped in the house right now. I think she said she's going to go over ways to stretch your hips, and stuff like that while we're stuck in the house. So that's going to be Tuesday at 1:00. Pretty excited.
Very nice.
And then next Thursday, I'm interviewing a teacher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
I have an interview with a financial planner in the works. So
good. Very good.
Be a consultant. I don't know. We'll get it planned. We'll get it on the calendar. But
right, I think it's planner.
Yeah. So that's next week. Yep.
Awesome.
So listen, I love hanging out with you.
Same here, ditto, girl. Next time we'll have our wine.
Yeah, next time we'll have our wine. We were a little slacky today. So we'll see you next Friday night at 7:00 for wine o'clock because it's wine time.
Wine o'clock, girl.
Wine o'clock. Have a good night, Paul.
Cheers. Bye.